How's it going, everybody? My name is Derek, and this is Sneakers and Spirits. Welcome to episode number 1. Today, we're going to be unboxing, reviewing, and checking out on-feet footage of one of my latest sneaker acquisitions. This pair has become one of my favorite pairs to wear on a nearly daily basis, so I'm super excited to share it with you. Before we get to that, however, the show is called Sneakers and Spirits, and while we're focusing on sneakers today, I'd be remiss to not share the pour of the day with you. And today, we are having Great King Street Artist Blend by Compass Box. As you can see by the fact that this bottle is almost empty, it's one of my go-to whiskeys to just casually sip on. It's nice and light, has notes of vanilla, pineapple, and banana, all rounded out by a nice smokiness, just the right amount to it. That said, it's a great introduction to the world of whiskey, and is still something I think even experienced whiskey drinkers can appreciate. It's great value for the money, around $25 to $35 a bottle, and I highly recommend it. Cheers. That is very good. Now, in a future episode, the next episode in fact, we're going to be reviewing and doing an in-depth tasting of another Compass Box product called the Spaniard. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, or you just want to keep updated on future episodes involving kicks and whiskey, please hit the subscribe button to be informed when they come up. So that being said, we've got an unboxing to do, so let's get to it. The Dior B23 Oblique Low-Top. First thing I'd like to spend some time on is the packaging. You're immediately struck by the fact that this is obviously not a typical shoe you'd find at your local mall. Wrapped all around the box is a Dior branded ribbon, accented by a large silver rendition of their Bumblebee logo. It's a bit of an obstacle, but adds a bit more flavor to this unboxing, so we'll take it. The box itself is textured to an almost tumbled leather look. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not real leather, otherwise this would be even more expensive, but it is a nice touch and makes keeping the shoebox worthwhile. Let's take a look at the style information. B23 Low-Top Oblique Transparent in white and black, size 42. Now we'll talk more about fit and sizing a bit later on in this video in the review segment, but for now, let's open it up. First, gotta get this ribbon out of the way. You'll notice as I try to work my way around this packaging that apart from the sizing and style information and the large Dior brand name stamped on the cover, there really isn't much else to speak of on this box. Just an overall nice and muted design, which I really appreciate. A lot of these other sneaker companies, premium sneaker companies, try to make their boxes outrageous, trying to compete for attention on your shelf. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but this box just exudes class. I mean, look at that. And I really, really like it. It's a classic example of letting the product itself do the talking. And I think it's a really nice touch. And finally, a nice aspect I absolutely love that most of these high-end sneaker brands put in their packaging is the inclusion of a dust bag, and this pair is no exception. A nice navy blue with Dior stamped on it. It may not seem like much, but it saves you from having to find bags to slip your sneakers into when you travel. I also like placing the shoes in the bag before putting them back in the box, so this is definitely a nice inclusion. Extra set of laces here, nothing too fancy going on with them, and given that, I wonder how different these are from the included laces, but we'll see. And the big reveal. There they are. We'll get into a more detailed look later on, but right off the bat, you notice something unmistakable. These are clearly influenced by Converse Chucks. Not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good thing Dior went the not-so-subtle route for its design. You definitely know you're not looking at Converses the moment you lay eyes on this pair. And the other shoe, naturally looking exactly the same. As I look at this and going back to the pair of extra laces, I think they really are just a spare pair. I don't notice anything too different between the standard laces and the pair in the bag. And I'll take it though, you never know when the sneaker gods decide to smite your pristine white laces with ketchup or coffee or Tabasco sauce, or in my case, baby vomit, or anything of that sort. And with a premium pair like this one, you want to be sure your shoe game is always on point. All in all, this whole package, the shoes themselves at first glance, absolutely everything that comes with the experience of buying these shoes and unboxing them oozes luxury. With this unboxing out of the way now, let's see if the shoes live up to expectations. If there ever was a tangible embodiment of the phrase, "a picture is worth 1,000 words," this is probably it. That's because there's possibly, literally, no less than 1,000 of the same word written on this shoe. From afar, you'd be forgiven for mistaking this shoe for a Converse. But one step closer, and it's unmistakable. With its subtle midsole color mismatch, translucent material, and brand name boldly stamped all over the upper. These are shoes you're going to want to take care of a bit more than the usual. Early in 2019, Kim Jones took over as creative director of Dior and immediately made a splash with a high-top version of the Oblique sneaker. It married two very familiar design elements, iconic in fashion history, to put forth a contribution to the streetwear scene of the 21st century. The classic lines of the Converse Chuck Taylors and the well-known Dior logo. Sneakerheads and fashionistas alike ate it right up. They fell for the low-top version that quickly followed as well. And so did I. There's going to be a segment of the population that says these are nothing more than $50 shoes with a name brand written on them. And yes, there's some truth to that. Probably not the $50 part. The B23s are Italian made, and a good chunk of your change does go to that. The rest of it? Probably close to $1 for every one of the 1,000 Diors on the exterior. But let's be real. Isn't that what you pay for the most anyway? Now let's talk details. Starting with the most obvious, all around the upper is the brand name. All over the tongue is the brand name. In multiple other places around the shoe is the brand name. The upper is canvas with mesh overlays around the collar, tongue, sides, and eyelets. The design gives the shoe a translucent effect, not unlike the Nike React Element 87s. But upon closer inspection, you quickly find it's all to a much more subtle level. The pull tab is a nice and soft leather in white. White rubber runs all around the midsole and the toe box. An interesting and welcome design choice is the addition of extra layers of rubber reinforcement all around the midsole, right around where the sole and upper meet. These extra bumpers, if you will, plus actual stitching attaching the rubber to the canvas prevents a problem I've had with many of my Converses. The sole inevitably starting to peel off at the sides the more I wear them. Of course, Dior just had to take the opportunity to add a twist to these bumper elements, taking the most prominent bumper on the lateral side of the shoe and accenting it with a cream color. This makes it stand out from a largely black and white design. There's no socially relevant symbolism here, no deeper meaning to unlock by peeling back the layers of the onion. No. This is an exercise in blatant, unabashed, and excessive name-dropping. And there's a purity to that bravado that you just can't help but admire. Now, the issue I find with most high-fashion sneakers is that they tend to fall into one of two categories. They either A, play it too safe and ultimately look boring and forgettable, or B, they go too far out there and ultimately end up looking extremely outlandish and not something you can wear on a daily basis. The interesting thing that Dior has done with this sneaker, I find, is that they've taken something we're very comfortable with, something we're familiar with, something we see on an almost daily basis, that is the lines and shape of the Converse Chucks, and combined it with something that we're also familiar with, which is the Dior logo. But they apply that Dior logo in a way that speaks the language, the current fashion language of everything going crazy for logos and brand names. You see it all the time now with brands like Gucci and Off-White and more high-profile brands like that. And I find that really refreshing. They've taken something safe, but executed it in a refreshing new way. And they've executed it in a way that speaks to their audience. And it's something that you can applaud. They know who their audience is, an audience that is willing to spend some extra money to flaunt the brands that they wear. Now, comfort is nothing to write home about. If you want to feel how these feel, go to your local store and try on a pair of Chucks. You're fine. Sizing is slightly different. These are true to size, whereas Chucks usually you have to go half size lower or even a full size lower. These ones are pretty true to size, so whatever your size is in Jordans and Air Maxes, that will be the size to get for this shoe. And that's it for this episode of Sneakers and Spirits. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it. This has been episode number 1, and we're just getting started.